Morning, everybody. Nils, we're live if you want to go ahead and say hi to everybody. Maybe Nils can't hear us. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the summer study. I'm Joanne Wade. I'm your graffiti editor. And when Nils gives me a hands up to show that he can hear me and can join us, I will hand over to him to welcome you to the summer study. He's looking a bit worried at the moment, so hey, I'm just going to carry on talking. It's great to see you all here. It's a bit weird this year. It's a bit different for everybody, but we're going to have a fun time. We're going to have lots of interesting conversations, and I hope a bit of community fun as well. As your graffiti editor, I'm chief fun organizer, which will be hilarious. But please do follow graffiti. It's on the community button on Hoover. If you find the graffiti message board and follow it, you'll see each morning what's going on in the day, what fun things are happening, some interviews with some key people and some thoughts they have. So if you follow it, it'll always be there at the top for you to find. And I do want you to join in. We're going to ask people to post some photos, to write some haikus, to caption some fun photos. And the more that we join in with these kind of things, the more it'll feel like we are together. I know it's a very different way, but we will be together in a different way, in a fun way. So that's really all I wanted to say this morning. Nils, are you okay to?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I hear everything well now, and I can speak as well. I suppose you hear me. Yeah, welcome everybody. I'm Nils Borg. I'm the executive director of eceee. We actually have our excellent co-chairs who will take care of the plenary, but I really would just like to welcome everybody, and I'm happy to see that we have so many people who will join us this week, despite it's not being a sort of a real summer study, which is really good to see. We had this kind of session in September when we did our industrial event, and we thought that was great. It allows panel leaders to pitch some of their sessions, so the panel leaders are more active, might get more people to join their sessions, so that's good. And I think without much ado, maybe we should go on to let our panel leaders who we have on board. We have only James and Fiona today, is that correct? Then we can also speak a little about the other sessions, but you can start and I can just round up a little with some of the other things that we are expecting today. So please, James and Fiona, what can we see from your panel this year? Or your panels, I should say.
Oh, well, I had only really thought about this morning's panel 4 session, which is about renovating existing buildings, which we all know is really important. One of the key challenges to improving energy efficiency and reducing emissions. So we've got a strong start today with 3 presentations on evaluating and monitoring the effects of those policies, for looking particularly at homes in 3 European countries. 2 papers are taking different approaches to looking at the difference between modelled and actual energy performance. Herman van der Bent is describing a sort of top-down approach using a huge data set of from over 2 million homes in the Netherlands. Tobias Loga and author are looking at sort of more of a bottom-up model, starting from a more modest sample of, but still 129 family buildings, multi-family buildings in Germany, with potential to extend this much further. And finally, Patrice, last but not least, Noj and his colleagues describe how they modelled a housing retrofit policy in France, piecing together data from a wide range of sources to get surprising results. There's a lot to learn and discuss. We look forward to seeing you at our panel session today and throughout the week. Thank you.
And yeah, I'm delighted. I'm really happy that I've got 2 panel sessions today. So right in at the deep end with panel 2. And what panel 2 is about is policy innovations to ensure scale and sustain action on energy efficiency. So some of the things we're looking at is what can we learn from the COVID pandemic and how policies have reacted so quickly in that context. Could we see similar ambitious action in the energy efficiency arena, so to speak? And then also what trends in wider energy policy, so outside efficiency, can energy efficiency almost piggyback on to accelerate action? And yeah, as I said, we've got 2 sessions today. So the first one is looking back and ahead, so lessons learned and introduction of future concepts and approaches. And the first talk within that, I think, is a really great opening. So it's on what have we learned and missed, and this looks back at some of the previous summer studies and some of the themes that have been brought up there, and what we can distill from those themes, just to learn from what's happened previously, but also what have we missed and what perhaps we can pick up on to take forward our policy thinking in the future. We then also have 2 talks on demand side response or linked to that, so on demanding, distributing and selling energy flexibility. And then another one on how data center infrastructure and this new term that I'm not familiar with, of energy gentrification. So very excited to hear a little bit more about that. And then that first session will close then with a view from within, advocating for collective action. So looking at how a lot of policies target the individual, whereas there may be scope to look more at the collective at a European level. And then just to briefly look at the second the session that we've got in our panel today, and that's on energy efficiency first, so policies, drivers and barriers. So again, very helpfully to start, we've got conceptualizing the energy efficiency first principle, so from foundations to implementation. So a great scene setter for those who may be less familiar with the concept and its application. Then we've got energy efficiency first in practice. And then looking at a more applied case, so we've got maximising the synergies between carbon pricing and Article 7 of the Energy Efficiency Directive. And then finally, in this panel, we've got introducing minimum energy performance standards across Europe. So yeah, I'm really excited about it, and hopefully you are too, and hopefully a lot of you can join us for these sessions.
Nils, you're on mute. Had to get that in early in the conference, didn't we?
Only this conference, I'm always a bit lost. So yeah, panel 1, where we have apparently this Marlene Sahakian and Marta Lopez from Coimbra, and Marlene is from Geneva. They are having an interesting session on so to look into energy services to need satisfaction, and we'll have one sort of, I think, comparative study on final energy footprints in Nepal, Vietnam, and Zambia. So it has a kind of a interesting developing country aspect, or economies in transition. Then we have another one on sort of how we define need satisfaction, the need satisfier escalator, and also looking at from capabilities to capacity. So looking at the power capacity requirements in the UK residential sector. And I'm not familiar with the paper at all, so I couldn't really say more about it, but I think it seems to be a really interesting session. And we have another one to, again, looking at satisfying human needs at low energy use. So again, all of these focus on kind of needs fulfillment rather than energy services per se, which I think is an interesting topic to look into. We have both panel 4 and panel 2 have told us what's happening. In panel 9, which is the appliance and products panel, and ICT, we have should be the new normal. So it's to a lot of the interesting things we need to do. And there we have a number of papers on of course, heating and cooling with air conditioners and better kind of technologies. It's also, it looks both in European Union in its top 10, and we also have presentations from India, where of course this is a very, very big issue. Then I think the last session we haven't covered today, well, we actually one is a the one on policy, finance and governance, going the next step, decision maker to foster energy efficiency, where we have something about both financing, it's really interesting, and various kind of setups of rebate programs. We have presentations from both Switzerland and Austria and Germany. Then I think the last very exciting we are having today is the say energy efficiency. Sorry, the local communities. The panel is entitled "A Smart Start for Sustainable Communities," and this session today looks at goals and pathways for sustainable cities. Finally, we have a panel on the one which is on building programs, and that's the panel is policies for a green recovery in the building sector, and we'll have some interesting presentations on energy performance requirements, how they can and should be developed, how we actually work with improving current homes, and looking at Portugal, how we far we are in the residential buildings from near zero energy buildings in Portugal. And we also have an interesting presentation from Alan Meyer in the US, but how do we save energy in unoccupied buildings, which I think is a neglected topic actually, because there is a lot of kind of standby in buildings. So that's where we're having on the panels today. It's a program only today. And I also really want to pitch the opening plenary. Will be a great, we have 3 really good speakers. We have Barbara Schloman. She is a member of the Scientific Advisory Council to the German government on climate change, but also works at Fraunhofer eceee, and she will present the Odyssey scoreboard on what is the kind of who is the leader, national leader in energy efficiency in Europe, which I think is a really interesting concept where Odyssey Europe for the first time has started a kind of a national comparison scoreboard, which is, let's say, one step forward from the eceee scoreboard, where they compared states and cities, because it's actually policy output based. So it really looks into how do countries really deliver, rather than just if they have a program in place. So it's kind of a mix of physical indicators and policies. So it's an interesting project, and this is the first time it will be presented in public. And from eceee, we are one of the partners in this specific part. We don't do the scientific work, but we have worked on the graphic design and to try to explain a super complex topic into pretty simple graphics. So I'll be excited to see how that works today and how well that is received. Then Arianna Vitali from the Coalition for Energy Savings. As you know, that's a Brussels-based organization with stakeholders in the energy efficiency business, both NGOs as well as company associations, all with a stake in energy efficiency. And she will speak about the green recovery and what we need. And then we have a final, I'd say, really thought-provoking and future-looking presentation by Gillian Enable, who is a professor in Leeds on I don't know exactly her chair, but she looks into transportation and all the challenges we're having, and she will look at the relentless growth of final energy transport demand and what we can do about it. So it kind of sets the scene for a lot of the discussions we need to do here and for our future summer studies. How do we cope with transport energy growth? So I think that's where we are today, and I think we'll start in 15 minutes. So unless
before we disappear, Niels, if I can just interrupt. My name's Liz Warren. I'm one of the technical team behind the scenes, and I just wanted to give people a little bit of an introduction to the conference website.
And nothing would work without Liz. Liz is
no, because that means if it doesn't work, it's on me. Yeah. No, there's a team of us behind the scenes who are hopefully making sure that you all get to see and hear some fantastic presentations and research during the course of this week. Those of you who are watching, there's about
84 of you at the moment, which is a fantastic start to day one.
Wow.
Yeah, you will have found yourself on Hoover, you on the conference platform. Hopefully you can see and hear us okay. I haven't seen any messages to say you can't. To the right-hand side of your screen, in the Hoover sessions, you'll see a Q&A option. That's where you can post questions for our speakers during the course of the conference. And there's also an option for chat, which is for more general comments, just saying hello to each other, talking about the weather, and general reflections on things. And then on the left-hand side of Hoover, in the menu, you'll see the community board. That's the place to go and meet and chat with people. Think of it as kind of the cafeteria or the bar or the corridors in the conference center, where you can just go and find the people that you want to talk to and discuss their presentations, possible joint projects, jobs, articles that you're interested in. And also it's where Joanne and the graffiti team will be the graffiti team is pretty much Joanne, I think, but Joanne and the graffiti volunteers, all of you will be posting great content and fun things and interesting activities and stuff for us to do during the course of the week. If you do get stuck at any point, have a look on the community board for the Ask Organisers Anything thread, and you can ask us anything and we'll do our best to answer it as quickly as we can and as helpfully as we can, so that you get to have a great conference. If you do have any technical problems during the week, don't worry, everything's being recorded. And we'll be posting things back onto the conference website, onto Hoover, and it will stay on Hoover for several months after the conference. So you can always come back and catch up with anything that you might have missed. And that's it from me.
I want to add one thing, and that's we do have some informal sessions lined up. I think 4 of them now. It is maybe not as easy and good to have them compared to those of you who know the physical summer study, but still there is space for a few more. So if you feel so inclined, please drop us an email and we try to schedule you. You'll find on the eceee website, the summer study website, not the Hoover website, some more instructions about that. So you're welcome to join if you have a good idea of an informal you want to run. Yeah.
Great.
So
thank you all.
Thank you.
See you in the opening plenary.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you all later. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.